What makes Articles of Style different is our level of service. So I worked in a bespoke tailor shop where we took care of guys. We did their design, we did their fittings, we really made sure it was perfect for them. And when I entered the online space, it was very different. Everything was do it yourself, no one looks at anything, no one really cares. So we brought that level of attention to detail, personal touch online. And how we do that is we make a test garment for each client that's already made to measure to their measurements, so we can get their personal preference and look at it on them, make any adjustments, and then we make the final garments. So there's that interim step that makes a world of difference to make sure that the garment is properly adjusted for the client, but also is to how they want it. Because the personal preference element is huge. Everyone's different. Some guys want high-waisted pants that are full leg. Some guys want it very slim, very short. So we kind of take into account that personal preference and have real tailors make sure it's adjusted properly for their body. Because fit is so important, I really wanted to make that the foundation of what we do at Articles of Style, and we put a lot of time and effort into that. And it gets into the minutia. We look at things in 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch increments. The idea is if you get it right the first time, you're really building a customer for life. So it takes a little bit more time and a lot more effort for us with a new client on his first order. We get the body measurements, we make a try-on, we send it to the customer, we review the try-on. But once we do that, when the client opens the final box, typically they're blown away. But now also their problem is solved. They know that if they order from us, it's gonna fit the right way. They don't have to worry about this anymore. So it's really a commitment to the longevity of the garment and the client relationship. If you get it right, the garment will last and the customer will last as well. Without making a try-on garment, there's a lot of risk. Like if you walk into somewhere and they take your body measurements and just make you a final garment, there's a lot of things that are going unsaid. There are things you can't measure and there's personal preference there. You don't know how that client wants their clothes to fit, even though you have their body measurements. There are times when we'll deliver a perfect fitting try-on in our opinion, but to the client, he has something else in mind. He wants a higher waisted trouser, a fuller cut, a higher armhole, could be a lot of things. There's such a big personal preference when it comes to fit. I've studied fit and I know a lot about it. And I can look at a garment and say, that's perfect. But if the guy's not comfortable in it, doesn't feel good in it, it doesn't really matter, does it? So it's somewhat of a moving target. So if you're just measuring and cutting, you're not getting enough information to make sure it's exactly what they want. The try-on garment bridges the gap between digital and physical. I can talk to you about how you want your clothes to fit, sure, but it's different when I give you a tangible thing to try on. I say, how does that feel? How does it feel in the shoulders? How does it feel in the armhole? And we get into detail. So it's a combination of the photos of the person wearing the try-on, so we can see shoulder slopes, postures, those kind of things. But also there's a series of questions we ask the customer. How does the try-on feel? So that gives us a very concrete idea of what the person is looking for. So if you're shopping with Articles of Style, the first step is going to our website and choosing the garments you want. So you're selecting fabric and design. Once you place your order, that's when the team starts working with you. So we'll ask you for body measurements, which you take yourself. We use those body measurements to make a custom-made test suit. It's made out of scrap fabric and we send that to you solely to review the fit on your body. You try on the test suit, you take photos wearing it so we can review it and make sure it's how it should be, and you answer questions about your personal preference and how the try-on feels. From there, we have a team of real tailors that review the photos and your answers to the questions. We make all the adjustments to your original patterns, and then we make the final garments. So the try-on is an extra step with your first order that allows us to make sure everything we make for you is going to be just right. Once you get the try-on garment, you want to try it on, right? Get to know it a little bit. The process is easy. You're taking 4 pictures in the try-on, basically front, left profile, back, right profile. Those pictures allow our tailors to review the fit on your body. We can see a lot from that. Things like shoulder slope, posture, sleeve rotations, basically analyzing the wrinkles and problems in that garment and making adjustments to your pattern to fix them before we cut the final garment. So it's 4 pictures wearing the garments, and then you answer a series of questions that give us your personal preference. For example, how do the shoulders feel? How does the stomach feel? How do you feel about the length of the sleeves? It's not a difficult process. It's very quick and easy, but the information we get is paramount to our whole process. When you receive your final garment, it should fit like a glove right out of the box, because we did the try-on, we did the adjustments, but we want to do a final fitting. I want to personally make sure that your garment is just how you wanted it. So you do a fitting just like you did with the try-ons. You put on your final garments, you take the same series of photos, you answer the same questions, and we review the final garment as well. If it does need a final tweak, a lot of times it's small things like adjusting the break of the pants or maybe one sleeve. We will advise you on what to tell your tailor locally. You'll get that done locally, and then we'll reimburse you for the cost of those alterations. And then we'll update your pattern with that change so that on the next order it's already built in.